Okay, great. So thanks very much for joining me today. Really appreciate it. I won't take up too much of your time, but I hope you're going to find this particular presentation useful today. It's been a bit of a hobby horse of mine over quite a few years about how financial advisors share and indeed sell their expertise. And it was back in 2019 that I first wrote a book. Don't know if you can see it on here, called 56 New Income Streams for Financial Advisors. And what's really interesting is I'm starting to see more and more advisors now looking for new ways to monetize their expertise, their experience, their credibility, all those exams that you've done over time. Because typically, financial advice, the model hasn't really changed over too many years, and we'll explore that in a bit more detail. For those of you that we've not met before, I've been working with financial advisors for about 47 years. I created Life Talk. I know one or two of you are members of Life Talk, which is the world's longest running online community for financial advisors. But I've also built the newest financial advisor online community, the advisor growth community as well. And we've also got quite a thriving marketing app, which, if we've got time, we'll tell you about a little bit later. But that's broadly speaking me. I've worked with a few accountants and a few lawyers as well, but mostly financial advisors. And interesting things are happening. So this was the book that came out in 2019, and I did it more just for a bit of fun at the time, because I was noticing actually there are lots and lots of different ways that you can make money out of your expertise. Now, you all, when you registered for this particular webinar, you all answered a couple of questions on the joining page, and these are the results of what you said. We had two questions. Have you considered adding a new income stream or business model alongside your core? And this is the key, alongside, not necessarily to replace it. And a fair percentage of you, almost half, said yes. Some said maybe, and 11% said no. Given the impact of the internet and AI, how confident are you that your current model will still meet clients' needs and business goals over the next 5 years? And that was quite an interesting set of answers there. Fairly seems to dominate there, extremely, which is really good. But really, what that's telling me is that, even though we have quite strong business models and a proposition which your clients absolutely love, there are still question marks being raised as to how this is all going to look in the future. So let's start from a standpoint of, well, it's not really the best place to start with, but it's as good a place as any. We are seeing more and more articles in industry press along these lines. Brits unsatisfied with retirement savings, yet they shy away from advice. Now, we're not going to analyze in depth why that is, that Brits shy away from advice. It'll be something to do with business models. It'll be something to do with fees. It'll be something to do with the way that we promote our propositions as financial advisors. There are all sorts of reasons. But to flip this round, what it says is there is massive opportunity for financial advisors who want to explore reaching into this particular market. Now, some people will call this the advice gap. There are some that just say, actually, there is no advice gap at all. It's something that we use as a kind of excuse for poor marketing on our behalf as a profession. And I think it is fair to say that over many, many years, the financial advice world has not really made a particularly good job of how we promote our expertise and credibility. And the model that we use as financial advisors hasn't really changed much over the years. When I got started in 1978 and started meeting financial advisors, obviously there was no such thing as financial planning back then. It was broking basically. Someone would go and see a financial advisor. We'd do a sort of fact find of sorts, which is more like a conversation over a cup of tea. And yes, you need a pension. Here's the one that you need to buy. And that's the way it all worked back then. But it hasn't really changed. Financial advice, financial planning is still done between consenting adults, either in your office or the client's home or somewhere else, where we go through a process. And yes, we've got more things like lifestyle financial planning, and the kind of the service that we provide has changed, but the delivery mechanism hasn't really changed much at all. It was quite interesting during the early days of COVID watching in live talk, there were a number of financial advisors who had never met a client online before. There were a number of financial advisors who said this can't be done. Financial planning can only be done face to face. But we got through all that and things have changed and things continue to change, which is really what I want to explore today. So the advice model hasn't really changed much. But what we are starting to see is that a lot of advisors are beginning to look at ways to take the expertise they've got and sell it to consumers in other formats. I know there's two or three of you on this call today who are on my book writing course. And what's really interesting to see is that the people who join the book writing course that we put on, I think this is our fifth year at the moment, we're just taking waiting list for next year's. They're beginning to realize actually, I have got expertise. I mean, you have got expertise in a variety of different ways, and that can be reproduced. And here's just a couple of books from the recent course. Gretchen Betts promoting her She Finance workbook. This is a magnificent piece of work. Nice simple one on the right. Damien there, financial planning and divorce. That's going to sell a lot of copies. What else? Some financial advisors do. Tim Jenkins here has created a book for the profession, Essential Guide to Defending Complaints in Financial Services. Mike Legassick, who comes on our course to talk about his three books that he has written. And I think he's working on his fourth at the moment. So basically taking the expertise that you've got and turning it into something else that people will buy. Yes, these people will all create new income streams by taking that expertise and turning them into books. And those books can, of course, be turned into all sorts of other things as well. This financial planning journal is absolutely fantastic, planning for retirement. Literally everybody on this course has enough expertise that they could turn that into an asset. As Daniel Priestley says, an asset is actually anything that will still add value even when you're not in the room. And I tend to call this signature content. A lot of financial advisors post content onto LinkedIn, onto blogs. Maybe they have a podcast or YouTube channel. Wherever you put out expertise can be turned into an asset that will not only add value to consumers and clients, but it will also bring in a new income stream for you. Other opportunities to create income streams, yep, write a book. Special reports and white papers. If you don't want to go so far as to writing a book, and everybody can write a book, you could do something equally of equal value, like a special report or a white paper, where you do some research into a particular topic in the financial planning world. And you do some fairly in-depth research and you write something. And special reports can be anything from 5 pages to 5,000 pages. It really doesn't matter, but it is a piece of expertise. And when you call it a special report or you call it a white paper, that kind of implies even greater expertise. And interestingly, while most financial advisors will write a book and they'll sell it for sort of £12.99, £20, something like that, special reports and white papers can be sold for hundreds of pounds, if not thousands of pounds. And where these tend to be used are if a financial planner is putting on a seminar or a public event or something like that, you have these available, that you bind them up and you have them available at the kind of the back of the room. And if people like your seminar, there's a fairly good chance that people will buy your special report. The special reports are really powerful. They are just pure research and they don't flow like a book flows. They're a bit more detailed. But this is the sort of thing that a lot of financial planners like to produce, and they can sell for a great deal of money. Courses, we'll talk about courses a little bit later as we go. Something else, speaking, most financial advisors that write a book will end up being asked to speak at all sorts of conferences and events. And when they realize that you can charge £2,000 to £5,000 an hour for your presentation, then they begin to realize, perhaps I should be doing this. I should have been doing this a lot sooner. I know one financial planner in the United States who used to put on seminars as a means to attract new clients, and he ended up stopping doing financial planning because he was getting so many inquiries for speaking engagements So many so that he could potentially do 2 to 5 speaking engagements a week, which he personally decided he didn't want to do that. But what he did decide to do was to put on really large scale events once a quarter, where he would book a hotel and he would put on like a weekend retreat. And it would start on a Friday, deep dive into financial planning, lifestyle financial planning, and he was charging $20,000 a ticket, and he had a 6 month waiting list for each of his events. So it's quite interesting that when you start looking at creating new income streams for your business, they can actually start you thinking about actually reshaping your business, or at least maybe pulling back and start going down other routes which may appeal to you. If not a quarterly retreat, then you could maybe consider doing an annual retreat or a half yearly one, real high value, and they bring in a great deal of income for you. We'll talk about memberships in a minute because I think membership communities for financial advisors are the biggest single opportunity that we've all got right now to monetize our expertise, add value to existing clients, attract new clients, and really change the face of financial advice. We will talk much more about that. We're also starting to see more coaching being done. A lot of financial planners don't thank me for suggesting that the future of financial planning will be where you have 1 foot in financial planning and 1 foot in life coaching. And I get why many would think, no, we're not really now life coaches, we're more fun. But that's the way, that's the direction of travel that we're starting to see. And I am seeing more and more financial planners starting to offer coaching services on perhaps a monthly subscription basis, which are, it's different from financial advice. Consulting is another area. Once you've written a special report or a white paper, or you've written a book, or you do some speaking, you will be asked to do some real high-end consulting and non-executive director work as well. I'm also starting to see some financial advisors. I mentioned Mike Legassick a little bit earlier, creating their own software where you create software as a service. Mike has produced his own apps and he's figured it out himself out. He's not a coder, he's not a geek. He has figured out with some new AI tools how he can create some apps that he can use in his own business that really add value to his proposition and indeed add value to his clients as well. At the end of all this, I will tell you that I've written a book on this. I literally finished it yesterday. And I go in the book into a lot more detail on how to do all these. So those of you that are kind of intrigued by what's to come and what else you can do, there is a book on its way. So what sort of products and what sort of services could you create that can bring in new clients and bring in new income streams? Any of you who've heard me talk before will have seen that I talk about the value ladder. This is the process by which you build trust with consumers and lead them into your world. Now, typically, lots of occupations, professions have a value ladder. A dentist today will typically have a value ladder. My dad was a dentist. And what you're really trying to do is to build trust with people so that they actually are prepared and want to pay you for the high-end service that you offer. So cosmetic dentistry is for most dentists right at the top of their value ladder. That's where they make the most money. That's the most expensive. The most profit comes in there. But most people, they're not going to go straight for cosmetic dental surgery with you unless they've already got to know you. Dentistry is a very personal business. Financial planning is a very personal business. Trust needs to build. When my dad was a dentist, teeth cleaning was pretty near the top of his value ladder. Yet today, teeth cleaning and teeth whitening is very, very popular. And you even see sort of teeth whitening being done in public, in supermarket, in shopping malls. So a lot of dentists will offer free teeth cleaning just to get you in the building. They give you a great service. You give them a testimonial, and it makes it much more likely that you're going to want to stick around with them and have more services from those dentists. Another example, say a chiropractor, they will typically have a value ladder as well, where in an ideal world, they want you to attend their own weekend retreat, their wellness retreat in a nice hotel where there's a celebrity chef, lots of wellness, yoga, and so on and so forth. But they are typically pretty expensive. No one's going to pay for that until they've experienced your other stuff. So most chiropractors will offer some sort of free consultation right at the start. You might get some massage maybe, but gradually the products and services that you are offered become higher value, more profitable to them, but you need to build trust in that particular chiropractor. Gyms have a value ladder, and their value ladder starts typically on the 2nd of January every single year. And there are various services that gyms and health clubs will offer, but in an ideal world, they want you to get up to the top of the ladder where you will be prepared to pay for something much, much more expensive. Now, I have my own value ladder for attracting financial planning clients and financial advisor clients, and this is my own value ladder. Starts right down the bottom with the green things. The things in green are typically free for financial advisors. So our Life Talk group, our marketing app, I have a variety of quizzes and scorecards which give financial advisors a great deal of value for free. In exchange, I get a lot of data. So you could call these lead magnets down the bottom. I've got a lot of e-books that I've written, a lot of e-guides, a lot of special reports. I give those away free. I've got my marketing app, and a new thing that I've added to my own value ladder is my own AI. I've got my own AI that's trained on my own books, on webinars that I've done, on speeches that I've done, have all gone into my own version of AI. And financial advisors can access that AI and get information. They can essentially talk to me 24/7, 365 days a year. And multiple financial advisors can all do it at exactly the same time. So the things in green are free, but now we start going up in value. So webinars, sometimes, so the things in blue, sometimes they're free, sometimes I give them away. Webinars, books, I give a lot of books away, but people also buy them off Amazon as well. The advisor growth community is a subscription community, and that costs $14 a month, although there is a higher tier as well. But I also give away a few free memberships to that as well. Then we get to the stuff that you always pay for. So deep dive LinkedIn consultancy, the book writing course, some of our mentoring groups as well, coaching calls, and I'll also create your own lead magnets for you. The stuff in red is at the top of the ladder. The deep dive weekend marketing retreat is very expensive, as is 12-month one-to-one coaching. But no one's going to purchase those unless they've experienced some of the other stuff. Nobody turns up in my inbox each day and says, Phil, I've just found you on LinkedIn. Can I come on your deep dive weekend retreat? They need to get to know me and understand what I do. And they even have to like the other stuff that I've actually done. So what could a financial advisor do in terms of creating their own value ladder? Most financial advisors don't really have a value ladder. Yes, you might have some e-guides or some downloads on your website. Yes, you might have a free consultation right at the start. But what you see here are a list of things that you could, if you wanted to really go down this route, have on your own value ladder. So right down the bottom, 10 tips for dentists nearing retirement if you happen to serve dentists. You could create a tips book. You could have your own scorecard or quiz on your website. You could have your own AI on your website that will answer website visitors' FAQs about your business. You could write an ebook. And I don't need to read them all out. You can see for yourself. I know several financial advisors who now do their own weekend retreat as well, or they have an inner circle. For most of you, what you're encouraging and hoping people will do is they'll want you to do their financial planning for you, if for them, if of course they are a good fit for you. You could put on your own networking events. I know several financial advisors who really didn't get much out of attending other networking events like BNI and various others, but decided to put on their own networking events, which were chargeable. And very successful they've been too. Now, as well as being a value ladder list here, These things on this list here, you could also turn into services that people will pay for. And it's worth kind of just thinking about those. So you could do chargeable webinars, you could do chargeable seminars, you could create your own online community, which we're going to talk about in a minute. You could write your own book. Any of these things here could potentially be turned into chargeable products or services that A, attract people into your business, B, build trust, but C, can be income streams in their own right as well. So let's just kind of progress this. The things in green, literally every one of those you could charge for. YouTube videos, well, you could create videos and put them within an online community and charge for those. Podcasts are usually free, audiobooks are usually free, but literally pretty well everything on that list you could charge for potentially. So a couple of weeks ago, I got chatting with a financial planner and we were talking about exactly this income streams. And this is what he said to me. I've got a couple of younger planners in the business who are ganging up on me. They say I'm missing a trick and are asking if they can start a new project to reach clients we wouldn't normally take on. I'm calling it our side hustle and I don't want to dampen their enthusiasm, so I've given them a budget and 12 months to literally play around with this idea. If it shows promises and passes my no BS test, we'll run with it alongside our normal financial planning proposition. Now, notwithstanding those little graphs I showed you right at the beginning, which where most people were saying maybe our proposition will still be fit for purpose in 5 years' time, what this guy here is saying, I'm not going to abandon my current financial planning proposition, but I am going to look and consider running something alongside it. Anything's up for grabs. And our conversation basically went down the line of, Phil, what do you think I could do? And I'm going to show you what I think you could do in just a moment. So let's just put a few numbers on those seeking advice at the moment. You know, the numbers change all the time depending on which piece of research that you read. But the numbers of people where there is massive opportunities for financial advisors is absolutely huge. But we all know, with the best will in the world, that enormous number there, they're not all a great fit for your particular product service. So what else could you actually do other than things I've already shown you that could actually attract some of these people? Alan Smith, many of you will know, very high profile financial planning, posts quite a lot on LinkedIn. He's got a great podcast, The Bulletproof Entrepreneur, I think it is, where he picked out Sean Wallace. Some of you will know Sean Wallace, very smart man, one mastermind quite a few years ago. He's a barrister. And Alan said the Sunday Times Fame and Fortune column always makes interest reading. This week's interview is one of the most intelligent people in the country. His views on investing in equities are revealing and probably reflect the views of many in the UK. He's really not interested, is the long and short of it. Alan says, as a profession, it seems we've still got plenty of work to do. So even people who you might normally expect to work with a financial planner and to buy into your service and your product aren't necessarily paying attention. So maybe there are some other ways that we can attract them in. AI will be one of them. Um, Now, I've kind of identified 5 different scenarios that we've got emerging because of AI. One is no change or very little change. We use it in the back office, which makes us more efficient. Great. Nothing wrong with that. And we're already starting to see that. My research is showing that about 45% of advisors are already seeing excellent new efficiencies within their business. So that's great, but it's not wildly inspiring. The second scenario is that AI will wipe us all off the face of the earth. Don't really think that's going to happen. So the third scenario is that we actually end up with more advisors doing more complex work. And the fourth scenario is that AI will allow us to create exciting new business models at scale, at a very low cost, and very, very quickly. Or to use AI in a way that helps us to plan and think about new business models. And fifth, the role of the advisor changes. I think I've already alluded to that, where I said, you know, we might start to see a time now where we've got financial planners with one foot in financial planning and one foot in coaching. We are only limited by our own imaginations as to how we actually will use AI. So let's focus on these two in particular. So, where are people going for financial advice if they're not going to financial advisors? Well, I think we know the answer. They're going to tick, and this is whether we like it or not. This is where many, many people are going. Lots of people going to TikTok. We don't have to like it, but that's where many people are going because it is appealing to them. It's the FCA's job to deal with situations where people are giving financial advice where they shouldn't be. It's not our job. Just let people get on with it. They're not our sort of clients. A lot of people going to Instagram, lots of people going to YouTube, and lots of people going to LinkedIn. I see a lot of financial planners now posting, if not on a daily basis, certainly on a weekly basis, information, tips, education around personal finance. It kicks off in January. If I had a quid for every single financial advisor who I see posts useful tips in January for people who are putting together their personal finance New Year's resolutions, I wouldn't need to be doing this right now. So lots and lots of people are getting financial advice in inverted commas from all sorts of different places. Now, let's look at one other place where people are getting financial advice, or let's call it financial information. And I don't want to get too hung up on the definition of advice. All of you on this call know what advice actually is, but let's kind of use it as a generic name. If I go onto a website like Udemy, which is a website for courses, and I type in these keywords here, I will find 126 courses related to pensions, 4,000 related to investments, 6,000 relating to investment planning, and if there's more than 10,000, they don't even bother to count. Now, why would people put courses online around their expertise? Because people will pay for them. Yes, any of us can go to YouTube and we can find like countless rabbit holes on personal finance and investing and pensions and savings when it's free, when we can pay for them on here. Because I think many people, yes, they know they can get free information, but if a course has been produced by somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, in other words, a qualified financial advisor, that adds perception of value and credibility. So let's just have a look at some of these. Some of them from the US, some of them are from the UK. And I'm not going to go through them all. I just want you to sort of cast an eye over this. So top left, the complete personal finance course, 15 quid, 11,000 almost five-star reviews. That comes to 165,000 quid in revenue. Financial planning for families, 22 almost five-star reviews, 15 quid. Pay off debt, 54. Personal finance, learn how to plan your personal finances from an accountant. Interesting. 400 almost five-star reviews with a £15 price tag. So this is very different from the stuff you do and how you charge your fees, but I think you get the point I'm trying to make. Here's some more. Personal finance masterclass, 15 quid, 52,000 in revenue. Investing in stocks, 12 quid, 45,000 almost five-star reviews, 500,000 quid in revenue. Now, these courses were all created before we had ChatGPT. So somebody actually had to put a PowerPoint presentation together or sit in front of a camera and do this. So a little bit of time was involved to put it together. Now there are AIs that will create courses for you in the blink of an eye. Investing for beginners, 1,400 almost five-star reviews. So here's one that is on YouTube. Personal finance, how to save, spend and think rationally about money. Almost 3 million reviews, but that's given away free. Now, sure, some of the people who watched that YouTube channel may have sought out the financial advisor and said, I like your YouTube channel. Can we work together? Pete Matthew, some of you will know Pete Matthew of Meaningful Money. He's had millions of downloads of his podcasts. And he said, and he says, you would be forgiven for thinking that if you have regular personal finance educational content that you're putting out there, that people will get in touch with you and say, "Hey, I've just seen your video or I've just listened to your podcast. I thought it was great. Could you just spare a few minutes and tell me if I'm being ripped off on my credit card fees?" Pete says that doesn't happen. What actually happens is your ideal clients are the people who tend to step forward. The trick is to make sure that A, you can cope with it all and you've got the capacity to deal with it. But in an ideal world, you really want to be monetizing this. If you're getting 3 million views, you really want to be monetizing it. Now, that particular channel, if you're getting that number of views on a video, YouTube will be paying you an income, but it won't be paying you a consistent and high quality income. So people, experts like you, are creating courses that people are paying for. Not everyone is going down the freebie route on YouTube. People are prepared to pay for it because you are qualified experts. The trick with all of this is to wrap it into a community, an online group, like a Facebook group, like a LinkedIn group. But I wouldn't recommend that you use LinkedIn or Facebook. I'll show you what I do recommend in just a moment. And there's a variety of models that you can do with this. And you create your online community. And I know Pete Matthew has his Meaningful Money community is actually on Facebook. It's free. And where people can interact, they can engage, they can ask each other questions, they can share stuff, and Pete and his team will dip in and out and help out. So there's a free model you can do, and you can put your courses in there, you can put your white papers in there, you can put anything you like in there. Then there's the freemium model. So you have a free community with chargeable content within it, like a course, for example. Then there's the subscription model, where it's not free, obviously, it's not freemium, but you pay a monthly subscription to join. My advisor growth community is $14 a month, but it does actually have some chargeable, higher chargeable tiers where you get more stuff. The trick is to wrap it into a community, and we'll talk about why that is. Now, online communities are really, really, really interesting. Human beings love to congregate with other human beings where you have something in common. Maybe you're just about to retire. If you're just about to retire and you had a good job, maybe you owned your own business or something like that, and if you discover that there is an online community for other people like you who are just about to retire, who had their own business, there's a fair likelihood that you will want to join that group as well, particularly if it is run by an expert. So let's explore a bit more about that. Your online community is not necessarily just another way to market and promote yourself. Think of it as an extension of what you already do, and we'll explore that as well. Ideally, if you want to create a community, you want a place where there is no algorithm. We created Life Talk on Facebook 18 years ago. If other platforms existed that didn't have an algorithm today, back then, I would not have used Facebook. The problem with Facebook and indeed LinkedIn is that the algorithms serve the platform, they don't serve the owner of the group. When I put content into Life Talk that is aimed at financial advisors, I would be forgiven for thinking that most members of that group will see it. In actual fact, the LinkedIn and the Facebook algorithm decides who sees it. So if you're going to do this, you want to make sure that as many people as possible actually see the content that you put in there. So a group that doesn't have an algorithm, you want a forum. You want to be able to categorize the topics in the forum. One of the biggest complaints that I get from financial advisors in our Facebook group is that finding previous content around a particular topic is nigh impossible. In our advisor growth community, every post is categorized, be that pensions, be it investment, be it regulation, whatever. So it's really easy to find stuff. You want to have a classroom somewhere you can actually put any courses that you might have created. You want to have a calendar so people can see in advance what is coming up. You want to have a member list. One of the great things about attending real life networking events is you can meet people. If you have a member list in your community, human beings naturally want to have a look who's on that list, where are they located, and maybe have an impromptu coffee or a beer somewhere on the line. You want private messaging and just a hint of gamification to make it fun and keep people engaged. So the platforms that you could use if you wanted to create your own, I mentioned Facebook. Again, you can use it. It's a nice, super easy way. It's free to do, but strong word of warning, Facebook could close down your group at any moment, literally at any moment. LinkedIn groups, not really fit for purpose, I'm afraid. The gold standard of online communities is Mighty Networks. They have got everything you need. They are quite expensive, but the money that you can make from running an online community is, again, just off the scale. School is where my advisor growth community. It's another platform that has been built specifically for creating your own community. Circle is another one. Passion is another one. Or you could just create your own WhatsApp group. Nothing wrong with doing that. No cost to it. I don't really like WhatsApp groups. They're fine for family stuff, but goodness me, they're noisy. Or you could build your own website. Life Talk started actually as its own website, but we moved it to Facebook when I noticed that financial advisors were all starting to pile into Facebook. So let's look at some real examples of how financial advisors are starting to do this. Let me introduce you to Roger Whitney, CFP, financial planner out in Texas. And he has his own podcast and he's known as the Retirement Answer Man. That's his kind of little branding that he has. And much of his business is centered around what he calls the Rock Retirement Club. It is an online community on Mighty Networks that is for his clients, his prospects, and anyone who fancies joining and paying the joining fee. It is all about retirement. Literally, whatever you can think about the topic of retirement, not just money, yeah, they talk about it in that group. Build the confidence to rock retirement, gain the knowledge and support you need to create a great retirement. And they have a waiting list because so many people want to join this. He wants to be able to control it. He doesn't want the group to be too noisy. His team are all members of the group, but he wants to be able to cope with the demand for it. This is just a few things off his website. Drawing from 25 years of experience helping people plan for and transition into retirement, and transition is a really key word. Great communities are ones where the membership are going through some sort of transition in their life. An obvious one is going from work or owning a business to transition into retirement. That's an obvious transition. Transitioning into becoming an empty nester. Those sort of transitions are really powerful. And within the group, create a compelling vision for retirement. Develop your own retirement plan. Discover what you can afford to do in retirement. Allocate your assets. Make decisions about health insurance. When you look at that list, does that look familiar? Most financial planners do most of that. He's just doing it as, if you like, a sales message to get people into his group. Let's have a look. What else is he doing? He's got a nice video on the front. Your retirement isn't just a math problem. It's about making the most of the only life you have. Rock Retirement Club is everything you need to rock retirement all in one place. And within there's education. There's discussions with retirement experts. There's access to tools. I think there's even like a cash flow modeling light tool that people can play around with. Little clubhouse activities, live workshops. They have real live in-person workshops as well. And obviously access to the team. And Roger kindly publishes some stats about membership of his community. And it would be interesting to see how this would compare with some of your own clients. So he's deliberately saying we want clients to join this, but we also want people who aren't going to ever become a client for whatever reason, but who value the community, and also prospects as well. So 67, 33% men, women split, 86 married, average planned retirement age 61. Retirement status, so we've got just under half are already retired, 15% about to retire next year, 2 to 5 years, and so on and so forth. And you can see the demographics across the piece there. So that was 2024, and he publishes them each year. And the 2025 stats have just come out as well, broadly similar. A few more have retired, still average age of 62, and so on and so forth. And a bit more stats as well. He's got information on people's net worth. So when people join, there's a scorecard that they can go through, which gets these answers out, and it all comes out. It's all confidential. So net worth less than 1 million, going up to over 5 million. But look at the bottom left-hand corner. A quarter of them have a financial advisor. Now, of all the people that have joined, some of that quarter may actually be his own clients. Well, they will, but some of that quarter will not be his own clients. So he's got a real opportunity there to bring more people on board. 51% have got a pension, and then we can see annual projected retirement spending in there as well. And just a few more stats, don't want to bore you with too many of them. Do you have a financial advisor? 72% no. So here's an interesting thing. 72% do not have a financial advisor, yet they have joined a financial planners online community. That to me is very, very telling, and it suggests to me there is huge opportunity to sell these people services that we've been talking about earlier. The most obvious thing they could sell is membership of the community. A few more stats, and we'll just jump over those. I will send you a copy of these slides. But he also looks at people's lifestyle as well. You know, those of you that are lifestyle financial planners, you'll have seen all of this before. You'll know what people's hobbies are, what they like, what they plan to do in retirement as well. So, but they're just transferring this to an online community. He does research about where people want to go on holiday. And he's also got a word cloud. What's one thing the Rock Retirement Club membership has done to help you rock retirement? Given me confidence. That's really interesting. Community, masterclass, dreaming bigger, created my plan, uh, great life, overcome inertia, create momentum, all of that within online community. And something else he does as a bit of fun, he asks people on an annual basis, which Cheers character are you? Now that's really interesting because you can tell a lot about a person by asking them what book character, what film character are you, tells you a lot about different people. So you can see that he's keeping this light, he's keeping it fun, but it's underpinned by his expertise. Obviously, this is in the US, and you can see where people already are. But interestingly, although this is a US community, we've still got people in Ireland, or one person in Ireland. We've got a couple of people in India, Spain, and so on and so forth. Now, potentially a financial advisor in the UK could create something like that, and you could still get paying membership from people in other countries as well. I can't imagine we'll want to be doing too much of that, but it's just a point worth making. So what's he charging? $800 a year with a waiting list. And he has so many people want to join that he has to do this waiting list that he opens up periodically throughout the year. Now, some of you might be thinking, blimey, 800 quid? Is that worth it? From what you've just seen, I think it really is worth it. And if you're thinking about retirement and you've been recommended to join this, then 800 quid for some of these people is just going to be a drop in the ocean, to be quite honest. To make the community run properly and run well and run efficiently and keep people coming back, they have monthly themes, all the sort of stuff here that nothing there that you couldn't offer as well. And they then break the monthly themes down into a weekly calendar. So on this particular week, on Tuesday, we've got a live stream. Thursday, we've got a talk about health and energy. Saturday, the host shares 6 exciting new pieces from the week, such as a quote or a fun fact. So it's not all financial planning, it's everything to do with retirement and rocking it. And what do people say about it? I just did a quick screenshot. Karen said, Rock Retirement has helped me relax, enjoy retirement. Giving me the tools to dream, evaluate my situation, and find financial freedom, knowing I've got the best plan possible. I joined thinking I was just going to double my financial plan for retirement, but it's given them a lot more besides. So, how much money is he making? The last time he published how many members he'd got, there were 1,268. Now, he's actually put it up by $100. You're the financial advisors, you do the sum. What's that come to? An annual recurring revenue of nicely over $1 million. I'll take that. Thank you very much indeed. And the odd thing about all this is actually really quite easy to do. If you wanted to do that in a Facebook group, it'd actually be quite hard to do because the tools aren't there. But if you use the tools like Mighty Networks and School and Circle, all of a sudden it becomes really easy to do. Now, when you set up your own community, it won't be finished on day one. It is a work in progress. It will never be finished. Here's another one: Wealth Without Wall Street. Community centered, focus on financial freedom. They've got 8,500 members, aiming for 10. They started on Facebook, moved to Mighty Networks, started with a paid membership, then added the freemium model, courses, Q&As, expert guest sessions. Roger does that as well, bringing in expert sessions as well. They've got their own app. If you use Mighty Networks, which Wealth Without Wall Street also do, you actually can get your own app as well, which is brilliant. So it's all branded up to you. And they've got an ethos. They've got a big picture as well, and just a few screenshots of what goes on. Change the direction of your future. Platform designed for you to succeed. A couple of screenshots in there as well. Unlimited content. It's all organized quite nicely around topics, events they're putting on. They've got groups within the group as well. They've got a scorecard that they use. Lots going on in there. Courses that people can either get for free or they can pay extra for. As I said, you've got your own app, which looks really nice as well. Another example, Washington Wealth Breakthrough. This is on the School platform. This is relatively new. They've got 19 members, but each member's paying $1,000 a year to do this. Now, how you put your pricing together, I cover all that in the book, but there is a certain amount of trial and error. There are some models that you can follow to help you come up with your pricing. Initially, most people are tempted to put really quite a small fee, but what people tend to find is the more you put the fee up or the more you give options for people, so different tiers, people can then pick and choose what they actually want to go for. You've got like a little home page that you've got, and so on and so forth. Is this happening in the UK? Well, we already mentioned Pete. Some of you might know Jessamy of Brown Dog Financial Planning. Now, she, by her own definition, is experimenting with this, but she's really, really keen to grow it. And she's looking at all sorts of different ways. So she is a financial planner, just like any other financial planner, high-end, high-quality service that she offers, but she also wants to appeal to a broader range, and she thinks she can do it through this particular route. So she's using financial challenges. She's really passionate about making investment accessible. And this is one of the models that she's playing with. So you can have one-to-one strategy sessions for 100. Actually, she's giving this away for free. Lifetime access to her Facebook community. She's got a foundations course as well. Another financial planner, you may have heard of Boost Financial Planning, some of you. Really nice branding they've got. So this is Josh. So this is UK Financial Planner. He hasn't got a community that does what we've just been looking at. What he has done, though, is created a community for his clients that's solely based around a topic that his clients are interested in: travel. So he's created, using one of these particular tools. I'm not sure which particular one it is, but we all like travel, we all like holidays. So he's created this particular tool where his clients can just talk about their holiday. They can share ideas around holidays, activities on holidays, great places to go, reviews on hotels, a different little angle on the community aspect. I think he provides it free, but it's something. It's like an extra layer that he's putting on top. One or two financial advisors I know are, as part of their proposition, now do a monthly walk for their existing clients, where literally they'll gather together in wherever outside the office or in some countryside car park, and they go for a walk for an hour. That's a community. Each and every one of you have got a community already, but you're probably not doing much with it. You might be sending an email newsletter, you might be doing a quarterly webinar, but most financial planners are not doing much with their existing community of clients. Now, the point of putting on a walk, and they put this on their website, is they invite their existing clients, but they also invite their existing clients to bring a friend. And as they go for their hour-long walk, they're not all talking about pensions and investments, far from it. They're talking about life. And it's a brilliant way, simple way, using community like that to start growing your client bank and adding value to your client bank in ways that we might not traditionally do. But that value that you add has a potential price tag to it as well, which you might want to actually charge people for. So here's the daddy, Pete. All started him, you probably know Pete's story. It all started with him just doing podcasts back in the day, short videos. I actually gave him his first video camera at an event that I was running, and the rest is history. His channel, Meaningful Money, on YouTube is absolutely fantastic. The best thing about it is go back to the very, very start, scroll back through all his videos and see what he's done. He's just taking stuff that he knows and putting it out there. And yes, it's attracted brilliant new clients, but he's also now monetizing it in a variety of other ways as well. So he's got his Meaningful Academy, which we'll talk about in a minute. He's got his Facebook group where thousands of people just chat about money. He's not giving financial advice. His team's not giving financial advice within the community. It's all educational discussion. But this is how he's monetizing it. Within his academy, he has three courses: Financial Foundations, Build Wealth, and Retirement Planning. And he says to me, it's bringing in about 15 to 20 grand a month. So I go back to those examples of courses on the Udemy platform that I showed you earlier and say, yes, this works in our world in the UK as well. We just need to kind of get our head around it, come up with a bit of a plan and think about how do I actually monetize this. Now, this is the sort of thing. So when I go back to that example of the financial planner said he's got a couple of young advisors who are badgering him to do something different, this is the angle that they're going to start taking. They're going to create a community. They're going to start by inviting a few clients in. They're going to focus a lot of their activity on their website to say to prospects, hey, join our online community. It's free. And then they may be chargeable. They're just going to kick it around. They're going to play around with it, see what works, see what doesn't work, use a bit of trial and error. So Pete's got his book as well, and I believe there's now a second book that's coming out of this as well. So the benefits of this model are incredible. A, you can reach new markets. You can create content and courses that people will pay for because you have the expertise, but they might not necessarily be the clients that you would typically go for. So you're adding value to your current market, brand new revenue stream, and if you do it on a monthly recurring revenue basis, very, very predictable cash flow as well. You can nurture future clients. So some of the people who might join your community out of pure curiosity, they may be in your community for a year, 2 years, 5 years, and then they might want to work with you at some point in the future. By creating your own community, it's a bit like writing your own book. If you write a book as a financial advisor, that says, by definition, you must be an expert. So worth thinking about that. You run your own community, that implies expertise, it implies credibility, it implies real authenticity as well. My goodness, does it differentiate yourself? I personally think this is going to be huge, this particular model. Absolutely huge. There's real opportunity for early adopters to embrace this. You can build scale rapidly. You can use AI to help you. in a variety. You can even have, I mentioned earlier, I have my own AI, Phil AI. Um, in my advisor growth community, any financial advisor can chat with Phil AI. If you create your own online community, you can create your own AI as well. It doesn't give financial advice, it just gives educational content as well. So you can use AI to really, really help you to build this sort of thing as well. Supports consumer duty in terms of regular communications, educational, all that good stuff. And my goodness, the data that you pick up when you look to see what people are talking about in your community, that is really, really valuable for you. So if for sake of example, after the budget, Ms. Reeves does something with inheritance tax, and everybody in your online community is talking about this. That says maybe they would like some more expert content in the group based around inheritance tax, and you could create a webinar or a guide or something like that. So your audience is giving you great information about what they want to see. Benefits of the model, I think, speak for themselves. Predictable income, smoother cash flow, grow and scale without doing any extra work. Business valuable value. It actually having your own community where you've got monthly recurring revenue will increase the perceived value of your business. And it also adds greater flexibility into your business model. Just to round off now with a few more examples. On the school group, I searched the money category. And so any online communities that are related to earning money or making money, people who don't. So look at this one here, this particular online community, 1,700 members, each paying 119 a month, 6,000 members paying 49 a month. This one's free, so they've obviously got some upsells within the group. Other ones here, 300 members, 27 a month, 3,500 members at 37 a month, 28,000 members for free. But I know for a fact, because I'm in this group, that there's lots of really good upsells in there as well. This group here, best part of 3,000 members, each paying $184 a month, $2,008 a month, $10 a month, each paying 5,000 members, each paying $10 a month. So this model is really popular now. Trading for women, 4,000 members, each paying $35 a month. That's just from school on Mighty Networks. Here's a community that teaches people about crypto, I guess, and the blockchain. They're bringing in 2 million annual recurring revenue. Each and every one of you watching this call today has expertise that you could sell in a variety of different formats. In its simplest form, write a guide, sell it, write a book, sell it, or go stage further and create an online community as well. You want to promote the thing. You need to have a big picture. We bring together people who are transitioning into retirement so that they can feel much more comfortable about whether or not they'll run out of money, whatever. Ideally, you want to bring people together who have something in common. You want to do regular webinars, have a newsletter, and even do Facebook ads to point people to your online community as well. The time to be thinking about this is really now. The best time, the best months for your community will be January, when people are thinking about the future, the new year, fresh mindset, New Year's resolution. If those of you who are tempted to put content onto LinkedIn, which is there to educate people, fine, that's good. But far better is to turn it into something even more valuable. Put it on LinkedIn, it'll have disappeared after 3 weeks. Put it in a book, it's there for life. Put it in a community, it's there for life. There are lots of people, lots of marketing people will have financial advisors believe that this is what you should be doing. You should be posting content everywhere, all the time. Absolute waste of time. Best place to post your content is where your clients hang out. If you work with dentists nearing retirement, then put your marketing in dental magazines, in dental podcasts, at dental trade shows. If you have a lot of dentists, create an online community for them and put all your efforts into that online community. If you are a financial planner and you deal with a certain type of person with a certain area of net worth who might be nearing retirement, Do all your marketing to them in your community. And here's one of the best parts about this. If you have a community for your existing clients, those members of your community will do something that you would hope they would do. They'll tell all their friends and they'll invite other people along as well. So having a community isn't just great value for your clients and your prospects and income for you, it's absolutely amazing for attracting referrals as well. I'm beginning to see social media running out of road. It's far too noisy. Engagement levels are falling rapidly. I'm seeing a ton of people complaining about LinkedIn right now, is that the numbers of views on posts are dropping like a stone, getting far fewer reviews. Social media is really noisy. People are getting fed up with social media unless it's something really personal to you, like a hobby you've got. Advertising on social media is really expensive. It's just beginning to run out of steam. And I'm beginning to think if you're going to do marketing as a financial advisor, do that marketing within your community. Do everything that you would normally do, but do it within your community. And sometimes you can sell the marketing that you would have done otherwise. So people doing a post a week on LinkedIn in January with a tip, put that into a guide, sell it within your community or give it away within your community. You're going to hear much more about me from me talking about the end of social media over the coming months. Um, don't forget, January is coming. All these people that follow you on LinkedIn or on social media, turn them into paying customers. Every one of them. Get them into your community. Your community doesn't have to have 5,000 people in it. It can have five people. Start really, really small. Go to your existing clients and say, look, this is something new that we're kicking around. We think it's going to be really valuable over time. But we'd love you to be a founder member or something like that. Come and join, be one of our founder members. Tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, and just start really, really small. The book is going to talk all about how to do that. You make more money in January than any other month. People will pay more. And if you put a course up in January, you can stick an extra 32% on the price tag. People will pay more. Um, Probably not enough time for January this year. Most financial advisors are going to think about bringing community together. You know, you've got a day job to do in the meantime, and you'll treat this as a bit like a side hustle, but a side hustle that could, in time, be really, really valuable to you. So we're about done. I really appreciate of your time. If anybody wants any help, I can do three things. We can do one-to-one coaching. The book writing course, the waiting list has just opened for the new course, which will start. Guess when? January. And I'd love you to join the advisor growth community. There is a 7-day free trial. I'll send you a link to that if you've got time. So just time to wrap up. Things are changing. The way financial advisors traditionally market and promote themselves is changing. Yes, you'll still get referrals, but you can do it in a way that actually makes you more money as time goes by. You can reach more people who really, really do need your expertise, and there's this fabulous opportunity to create new income streams. To finish where we started, if you're in the unsure or fairly section, uh, what we've been talking about today could really be something really quite exciting for you, and I'd urge you to kind of give that some thought. So thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. If anybody's got any questions, feel free to get in touch. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, I'll make sure you get a copy of this in case you want to go through it again. And if anybody's got any questions literally right now, we'll call it a day. We're done. Thank you so much, people. Take care. See you soon.